That's a great segue into one thing that I really wanted to discuss. We knew we wanted to bring Ed onto the podcast just to kind of like talk about his top eight and congratulate him on that. But also, I was just thinking, when we made the decision to bring him on, and I was just thinking to myself like I'm in the shoes that Ed was in a week ago, right? Ed is a longtime Guardian player, like he went over. He's been playing Guardian for almost 2 years, and just couldn't get away from it, right? And then the first time he steps away from it, he scores the top eight, right? Now, obviously, we play card games. There's variance in everything. That could be some of it. It could be we obviously don't know that, right? You have to get a little lucky in every card tournament, no matter how good or bad you do. Um, and but it really goes to show. I don't know if there's like a lot of specialists out there that are just like on the fence about whether they want to kind of jump ship and try new things. Will you did something what a couple months ago? You were on Dromai for the or just illusionist as a whole, right? Did a long stint with Prism and a little bit with Dromine. You were like, let's try some stuff. And you went Phi and Briar, and tell us how you did on those.
Oh, lots of wins, just
Right.
kicking a ton of butt. Got ninth at a Battle Hardened, and then was I think second seed in the PTI event the following day on Sunday with
Hmm.
Briar. Like, there's nothing wrong with branching out, jumping into heroes that you don't necessarily feel the most comfortable with, because there's a lot of validity in just exploring that. It makes you learn so many things, and it might just pay off and give you some wins.
Absolutely, absolutely. And like one of the things that I'm like struggling with is, I'm just comfortable playing Briar. I know every single thing to do, and I just haven't found a way to step away from it. But Ed, you managed to do that. So what was the final straw, or what what was your decision process on abandoning what you played for 2 years, just to
Oh,
kind
yeah.
of give an idea to other people if they're in the same situation? Like, we got to get Josh on something else, right? So we're looking for tips.
Mhm,
So
mhm.
anything you can give us, we'll take it to get him to try something else. What you got?
Yeah, the joke is the team captain was like, "We're just not gonna pay you if you play Bravo again. We're
Yeah.
not gonna give you your stipend. You gotta play something else." Obviously, he wasn't serious, but I was like, "You
Right.
know what? Like, I really do." But the big thing that kinda pushed me to it and to give it a try was it's a battle harden. It is a high level event, but it is not the highest level event. It's the lowest ELO K value, and I was willing to, throw away some elo just to get some experience with other stuff. I wish Bravo was better. I really do. I played him for so long, and I've done extremely well with him. I've done extremely well with the Guardians in general. Um, saw a lot of success with Starvo, but he was kind of everything. Yeah, he wasn't really
Mhm.
even a Guardian. He felt like almost a brood at times. Just slapping you with some damage, whatever. But yeah, Bravo's issue right now is unfortunately like we're in a meta to where everything is quick, right? And Bravo shines so well in the metas where the game was a little bit slower and you could sit there and you could pitch stack and have a very good second cycle, get the crap out of your deck, right? Like you have all these crap blues that you don't want to see, all these sync belows and favorite scenes and whatnot. So once I realized that and decided, hey, let's try something else, give it a good shot. It's just a battle harden, right? What do I have to lose? So
Mhm.
yeah, main thing, just branch out a little bit, get out of your comfort zone. That's a extremely valuable thing to do. And it's almost like eye-opening, euphoric in a way, right? Like, oh man, if I just do something else and get like another side, like I basically only play control decks and I have for a long time. Playing this aggro deck is like, oh, there's this whole other side to the game, right?
Mhm.
It's not just a puzzle of how do I block the most efficiency, swing hammer, and then see a second cycle. It's how do I maximize my damage and like maximize a turn cycle, right? Because you didn't really have to do that as much in Oldham. It was, I know my deck's going to be 100% better than yours in the second cycle. With this, it's my deck's already very efficient. How do I be more efficient than you are?
Mhm.
Right? And how do you solve that problem? And presenting that problem to your opponent as opposed to trying to solve their opponent, that's it's a whole different game, right?
Well, we joked that Ed's finally hopping off Guardian for a weekend. I wonder if he'll
Oh
just top
yeah.
8 on his very first try. Now, let me ask you though, was there anything that you learned while playing so much Guardian that came over to your playing with Lexi? Were you
Oh
perhaps
yeah, yeah.
blocking a little more than maybe a typical Lexi player might, stuff like that?
Oh, I would say so. Now, it is a funny joke. Like on the way there, we were like, "Oh yeah, how funny would it be? The first tournament that I don't register a Guardian, I top 8. Wouldn't that be hilarious, right?"
Oh
And
yeah.
then it happened, right? That was super cool. But obviously, there was some luck there. I didn't get the super thinky matchups, as I like to call them, like the Dromize and the Islers. I didn't see those until later. And
Mhm.
of course, we already talked about that. I lost those. And if I was a little bit more seasoned Lexi player, I probably would have been able to play a little more optimally there and be able to get the
Yeah.
wins. But yeah, the big thing is like knowing that you do need to block. Like the biggest thing with Bravo and learning from him is that, what is the value of my hand? If I take a whole bunch of damage here and I try to present something like a spinal cross up my 3 damage hand by blocking something, but I took 10 to do it, like that's just not efficient. And that's the
Mm.
biggest thing. Like, I think a lot of people put the blinders on and they're like, hey, I have a blue and 3 arrows and I just want to go like shoot, shoot, boom, boom, boom. But your opponent plays like a blood rush bellows. Like, maybe you shouldn't do that, right? Like, maybe you should just take a step back, don't get yourself in kill range, and try to set up a better turn later, right? Like, you don't have to blow your 3 of a kind just immediately. Like, that's it. You should be more than happy to arsenal that sucker, right?
Mhm.
Mhm.
And just sit on it for a little while.
Absolutely. That's what I love to hear.
Yeah.
Yep. And so what happens next? Okay, so you have the long history of Bravo, and you switch, and you have immediate success with another deck. It
Mhm.
is going forward. Is your thought process where I would imagine previously it was probably okay? I need a real good reason not to play Bravo, and if there's any reason to play Bravo, I'm playing it. Is it now flipped? Is it now where you're in a situation where I really need a good reason to go to Bravo instead of need a real good reason to come off of it?